Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. It's me, Chastity J, the manicurist enhancer. Today's topic is going to be on saturated fields in your industry. A lot of times, that topic of discussion always comes up about how much of something is too much. How much of something is too much. We have nail salons, we have beauty salons, we have spas, we now have CBD, we have dispensaries, boutiques, things like that. You need to be able to work around the saturation in your industry. You need to learn how to research. You need to learn how to enhance who you are as a person, as a business owner. You need to be the brand for your business. A lot of times we come up with an idea and we feel like, oh, that's a great idea. Let me jump out there and start my business. But if you don't have the information and the knowledge that you need to start your business or to become better than the next person in your industry, you're going to always fall back to the beginning. I have several classes that I offer, which is on my Linktree, and that's Linktree/Shay Marie. And I teach you how to brand your business, how to run your business, business credit, personal credit, uh, um, salon etiquette, things like that. Like I said, I'm a manicurist. I've been in the game for about 21 years now. So now I'm moving on to the business aspect of the industry. I'm still in my same industry, but I'm moving on to bigger things right now. We see everybody else making money, making millions, building credit, getting credit scores up, but we never see the nail techs uh, expanding past the salon, expanding past the nail polish, expanding past just being a traditional nail tech. If you go onto my Linktree, you will see that I have published my first book. It's called Life Behind the Table. So when I first started that book, it was initially about how to become an extraordinary nail tech. Meaning, how do you move away from being behind the table? How do you get away from just being a regular nail tech? So, once I got into more projects along the way, I decided to not mainly focus on the nail techs and to make the book a little bit broader. So, now not only just the nail techs can use the book, anybody in any business, any industry can use the book titled Life Behind the Table. So I don't want people to get discouraged when they open up their business. What you need to do is focus on the demographics. Number one, you need to research your area. Right now, I see a lot of people selling the vendors list, and everybody wants to know what's on that list. But if you take the time out to research, then you will can probably find some of the vendors that is on that list that everyone is circulating. You don't want to jump in and buy a list just from anyone. You want to get a list from someone that's in your industry. You don't want to buy a list for the nail business from a hairdresser, a someone who owns a boutique of things of that nature, because their industry specifically caters to those people in that industry. Now, if you just want to take a look around and see what's on that vendors list and maybe you can expand your business and do some extra things, then go ahead and take your chances. But don't be mad if that vendors list does not cater to what you need in your industry. So you need to find out how to get around the saturation in your community. Just because you live in Detroit or Atlanta or Texas or things like that, you can very well find people in other states. You got to do the work. You have to do the work. But you can very well have your headquarters in one state and cater to a clientele in another demographic in another state, another city, things like that. You don't always have to stay in the state that you live in. I'm from Detroit, so we have a lot of hair salons, nail salons, a lot of boutiques. So when I started my business, my thing was there is not a all black nail supply store in the inner city. Um, But a lot of times people feel like, oh, well, this business is new. I never heard of them. I'm skeptical about going into this store right now. I'm going to take a peek. I'm going to follow them. I'm going to see what they have to offer. But while the community is trying to decide if they should patronize or not, I still have a business to run. I still have to go out and get the clientele that I need. I still have to go out and say, hey, this is Razzle Dazzle Nail Supply. I'm a former manicurist, nail tech, and I need your business. So you have to learn how to get around the saturation in your industry. And don't let the saturation discourage you. We know nowadays that on social media, there are tons and tons of boutiques. What can make your boutique different from the next one or the next two or the next five? What can you do differently? And that's where the research come in at. That's where the hard work comes in at. You have to actually sit down, write these things out. You cannot, absolutely cannot follow the next person and mimic your business after that person. You cannot. So you have to sit down and say, hey, what type of person am I? Am I a business owner? If I'm not a business owner, then you need to research how to become a business owner. Do I want to do retail, brick and mortar? Do I want to do a suite? Do I want to do online? Do I want to do mobile? You have to think about all these things, because if one thing doesn't work, then you have to decide, what can I do next that's going to make me go above and beyond, that's going to wake me up in the morning and say, hey, this is your job, get up and do it. When I first started my nail supply store, I was so excited. I was in there every single day. Every single day. I was like, this is mine. This is my baby. This is the business that I built. So I started the build out in October. I started the store actually in November. So that means I was tapping into the holidays. So I got a lot of business. I sold a lot of stuff online. I had to do a lot of promoting, things like that. I had to come off the cuff to get my name out there. I started mailing stuff out to people in different states, different cities, to let them know, hey, this is where I'm located. So, and then I had to also compete with the holidays, the shipping, the back orders, and things like that. So you cannot always be prepared for a big ticket item. You can't. So with that being said, I had to figure out what else can I do to make sure that my business survives. So I had to go into research mode, which I'm always doing, but I've never owned a retail store. Never. Like I said, I've been a manicurist for 21 years. I've been a traveling manicurist. I've been an instructor. I'm still instructing. It's a lot of things that I do in my industry, but I have never owned a retail store. So even though I took business classes, I took technical classes, you can never be too prepared for a big ticket item as such as that. So I'm still in the beginning stages. I'm still learning. I'm still willing to learn. I'm still researching. I'm still grasping and getting information in order to make sure that my business is a success. So a lot of times we jump out there and we say, hey, I got a couple $1,000. Let me start this business. And what happens if you run into a hiccup and that hiccup takes the majority of your money? You have to be prepared for that hiccup and beyond. A lot of times we're not. A lot of times we see somebody else doing something and it looks good. Oh, they did it. They became a thousandaire or a millionaire. I know I can do it. But you don't know the backstory of how they got there. Why? Because people always want to tell you the success of how they got there, of when they arrived. They don't necessarily want to tell you step by step how they got there. They just want to show you what it looks like when they cut the ribbon. So even if you have the courage to say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, and this, can you help me out? Can you give me some insight? Can you give me some information? They are not going to give it. They are not going to give it. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. And it's not just African Americans or colored people or black people or brown people. It's everybody in the world today, because We're suffering, we're struggling. Everyone is trying to grab the rope and hold on and become the best that they can be. And social media is saying if you don't go big, you must go home. So a lot of times people are not going to tell you how they got from A to Z. They just going to show you how they got to Z, but they're not going to give you the information in between. So it's up to you to take the time to figure out, one, how do I overcome the saturation in my industry? And then you need to decide, does my community need another one of these, whatever it is? And if you keep coming up with, yes, my community needs another one of these, then you need to say, what else can I do differently to make my business different from the next business? So we can't keep having a conversation of the saturated fields and the saturated industry unless we have a resolution for that. So you could talk all day long. You can have these roundtable discussions and Facebook lives and Instagram lives. If you don't have a solution for your saturated industry, what's the point? What's the point? So I actually teach a class on how to overcome the saturation. And you can find those classes, like I said, on my link tree. Right now we're in a pandemic, so it's pretty much the classes are one-on-one. So because it gives me and the client the opportunity to figure out what's the best fit for them. What's the best fit? Which way to go? If it becomes a time where we could do a group session, I may do something like that later along the way once, we can go back outside and be normal. I do consultations. I do over the phone. However, we need to get this started, then, I'm willing to be flexible. But at the same time, it's so many people that want to get out there, start their business. They're scared. The biggest thing that keeps us from moving from one door to the next is fear. It's fear. We're so used to punching the clock. We're so used to waiting on our checks every 2 weeks. We're so used to someone telling us you got to be here at 8 a.m. Instead of you getting up and when you want to get up and opening up your business, when you want to open up your business, of course you have to follow the grid. And of course you have to be there for your customers. But at the same time, once you get away from that corporate world, it is so hard to go back. It's so hard to go back. So the first thing that we need to do is learn how to overcome the fear. And then once you do that, then you should be able to figure out the rest. There is paradise on the other side of fear. And I tell my students this all the time. There is paradise on the other side of fear. So I just wanted to give that little snippet and give somebody some encouragement. Like what people say on social media, I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to overcome the fear. Because why? There is paradise on the other side of fear. You can't be worried about the naysayers. You can't be worried about the people who don't want you on their level or who don't want you in their industry. It's been a plenty of times where people say, oh, there's no need for a nail tech here. And here I am teaching a class on how to become the best nail tech that you can be, how to become the extraordinary nail tech. So if you go ahead into my link tree and you'll find my book, it's called Life Behind the Table. You can get all the goodies there. I show you how to execute some things in order for you to stay on track. I show you how to maneuver in your industry. And like I say, I made the book universal, so pretty much anybody can use the book. But you have to overcome the fear. And once you do that, everything else is just, I'm not going to say it's smooth sailing, but I'm going to say that's half the battle, is overcoming the fear. And then once you overcome the fear, then you won't let the saturated industry stop you from doing what it is that you need to do for your business. So I thank you guys for coming and tuning in to my channel, Chastity J, the Manicurist Enhancer. And I'm so excited for this journey because I talk to a lot of nail techs slash manicurists slash nail stylists, and they are ready to go to the next level. So if you are that nail tech that's ready to go to the next level, hit me up, contact me, go to my Instagram page, Razzle Dazzle Nail Supply, or go to my link tree, it's linktree/Shay Marie, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Good night.